Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Bethany Mandel is author and columnist extraordinary. You can follow her on X, the site formerly known as Twitter, at Bethany Shondark. Good morning, Bethany. Quick question. Have you had to hire blind babysitters for your kids? You know, you're caught out and you have to find a babysitter. Has that happened to you yet?
All the time. I thought you were talking about like an actual blind babysitter. I'm like, I'm not sure I would go there. But yes, no, I have hired babysitters that I've never met before.
Okay, when you do that, if they came in and said they're 50 years old, would that qualify them or disqualify them in your view?
I mean, I would know basic demographics, but as long as they could pick up the baby, I don't see what the problem is.
So if you said, well, I got a 75-year-old grandparent who will come over and sit with your kids, what would you say?
If they can pick up the baby and change a diaper, my in-laws refuse to do so. So I would sort of make that clear that like this is a requirement of watching a baby is changing a diaper.
So if you and Mr. Mandel are out at, say, a hotel and you're staying somewhere and they say, we've got a babysitting service, but I want to warn you, she's 80, but she's strong.
I mean, are you asking at what point my age discrimination overrides my willingness
Yes, to get
I
out.
mean, yeah, I mean 75, 80, I think is my line, I guess.
Because 73% of Americans told the Wall Street Journal Joe Biden is too old. Would you let Joe
Yeah.
Biden babysit your kids?
He has very clear cognitive issues. So no, I would not.
I wouldn't either, because the whole essence of babysitting is what do you do in an emergency? Not if they're screaming at each other or drawn on the wall, but what if the house is on fire, right? That's when you need someone to be able to act with dispatch. And 73% of Americans don't think Joe Biden can do that. And I think they're right, Bethany. Do you agree?
I mean, we saw the house go on fire in like the national sense in Maui, and his reaction was, I have no comment because he couldn't form a coherent one that he trusted himself to make. And so, on the beach, while people, what happened in Maui is not getting enough play. We had an electric company start a fire that killed hundreds of children. We still don't know how many, and they barricaded the exit roads. And where is the outrage? We've already moved beyond it. And when all of that happened, Joe Biden's reaction was no comment. So
Do you know
yeah, I
that we
mean,
also moved beyond the Shooter's Manifesto in Nashville? We've never found out what that manifesto said. We know what the Shooter's Manifesto said at the dollar store in Florida, and rightly so. He was a racist and a coward, and Ron DeSantis said so. We don't know what the shooter said in Nashville, and we don't know what happened in Maui. I have no idea how many people died in Maui. Do you?
no. I mean, I don't think anyone knows because they haven't been releasing numbers. And unfortunately, like the given the situation that happened, entire families were likely destroyed, and we don't. There's no one to make a missing persons report, and there's no remains left over. So I don't know if we'll ever know the full number.
And do you think the coverage would be the same if it had been Donald Trump or George W. Bush in charge?
We know that it would be because Katrina. We would have Kanye West standing in front of a camera saying this is George W. Bush's fault all over again. But, because it's Joe Biden, we've all kind of moved on. And then there's like this weirdness with The Rock and Oprah raising money, but for what? Like there's so much weirdness going on and everyone's just sort of like, yep, well, that's what happens.
So I want to come full circle. The press has been protecting President Biden because they like him and they're Democrats. But even though they've thrown up the shield, 73% say he's too old to be president. I don't think he can win. And I don't care if we nominated anybody, we being Republicans, he cannot win. Do you agree with me about that?
I don't, because if we put up Donald Trump, he's pretty much isn't he exactly the same age? Aren't they
No,
the
he's 4
exact
years
same age?
younger.
He's 4 years
No, he's
younger.
2 years younger, 2 or 3 years younger. Yeah.
The difference in cognitive function is significant between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Again, like if
Sure.
Donald Trump did a fraction of what Joe Biden did, it would be all over the. I mean, we know that because we all have seen what happened with Mitch McConnell, and that's been all over the news. So amplified 10 times if it were Donald Trump. Um, I I don't know. I mean, I still, maybe I'm making the same mistake that I made however many years ago, but I still worry about Donald Trump's electability. If it were anyone else, if it were Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Ron DeSantis, even Vivek, perhaps, I think that they really do have a
Oh,
very
I think
significant
Vivek
chance.
would beat. I think he would beat Trump like a drum. DeSantis like excuse me, Biden like a drum. I really think any Republican not named Trump would beat Biden like a drum. I don't expect Biden to be the nominee. Do you? He's. I mean, we're not talking about somewhat old. We're talking about really old.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he doesn't have COVID in his corner. He can't hide in the basement like he did. And he's going to have to get out there and he's going to have to campaign. And that's going to lead to a lot of really uncomfortable situations